one vital fact I would like to submit.
Hola, mis Coca-Colas, and howdy to all my partners out there. How y'all doing today? My name is AJ, a.k.a. The Bleach Fajita, and you know what time it is. Poiema Studio podcast time. It is a wonderful Tuesday night. I hope it is for you too, because it is for me. At least right now it's Monday night, but whatever. That's besides the point. Welcome to the Poiema Studio podcast. Again, my name is AJ, The Bleach Fajita, and joined by...
Hi, everyone. This is Gabi Vargas. Welcome again. Thank you for joining us and tuning in to our podcast tonight. Super excited to finally,
500th time
fourth
the charm.
time is the charm.
It's okay. It's okay.
For real. We've been trying to get this down pat for almost a year now. I think
Yes.
pretty much a year, actually.
Yeah.
Because we recorded at Dream Hall first.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
We did.
Oh, my God.
Well, let me introduce
get the
the
lights
one
on?
and only Mr. Hollick.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Gabby. Just call me Jim.
Jim, yes, no. There's a funny story behind it, but
Yeah.
Jim is Poiema Studio's one and only art instructor and also supporter and friend, and he's the Poiema fam. So
Definitely.
we definitely had to bring you on and introduce you to everyone that, gets to see this. We want to talk about you today.
Well, you were doing such important work that I wanted to be part of it. I thought that was
you.
really important,
Thank you.
with your suicide prevention. And
Yeah, we met at Sherman, talked briefly about, what I was doing. You said
yeah.
what did you say? That
I said,
that
you,
I drafted
you came up
you.
to me, and I was volunteering at Sherman at
Yes.
the time, and Gabby was an interpreter. So she bumped into me in the hallway, and she said, "Oh, how are you? And what did you do, formerly before I retired?" And I said I was an
Yeah.
art teacher.
Yeah.
And then
And you're like, if you ever need any help, and back then, I've never done
Yeah.
art. And
that was my mistake, is saying if you ever need any help. 'Cause then you
Yeah.
roped me in.
well, then I met Kelly, who wanted to share Jordan's story.
Yes.
And one of the things that I personally want to bring awareness to or remove the stigma is, when someone takes their life, it's like the fear of speaking of that person when I'm like, that person was a wholesome person that was loved, that had other qualities about them, let's talk about the good things of that person.
Right,
And
right.
Kelly said Jordan was an artist. So she wanted to share his story, and we're like, so then that's when I'm like, Jim, I need you now.
Yeah, you drafted me. You drafted me into the
was
Gabby
like-
army.
Yes, I was like,
Which
I
is
need
okay.
you now. Let's put together a painting event.
Yeah,
And that's when we started doing the grief support with the painting. And
which was really good. It was really functional. When
Yeah.
we'd sit in a circle and we'd discuss what our grief was
Yes.
and, how it has affected us. And then to do something good, like do a painting to take your mind off of things,
yes.
kind of an art therapy type situation was good.
Yeah, and it's always been so enjoyable to see how people walk in the room and they're like, oh, I'm not an artist. And then they walk away with their painting, their canvas. And we're
Yeah.
like, you see, you can paint.
It's
and
something
you can
good
be
to
an
take
artist.
home, which is good.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to Jim, though. Let's tell us about Jim. How did Jim become an art instructor? What was Jim like when he was a little boy running around Schaumburg?
I was a mean little kid.
Were you?
Yeah, I was mean. But I've changed a lot. So
Yeah.
I did. I grew up in Hoffman Estates. And, it was a good place to grow up. My parents lived on Flagstaff, which is, one of the older sections. And it was a nice place to grow up. We were free. And the times were different then, because I used to hop on my bike and we'd ride to Elgin on our bicycles.
Wow.
And our parents never worried about us or anything. In those days,
Not even
you
drive down,
had to
that's
be in
scary.
by dark. That was it. That was the rule.
So you guys got to choose where
Yeah.
was your destination as long as you came back home on time.
Right, exactly. And they don't really care where we were. Just as long as we were safe. So, and we never really went by ourselves. So I would go in a group of guys, that I hung out with. So it was always kind of fun. And then, I went to Conant High School and really got into art there because I had a great couple of teachers. And I didn't really start out being an art teacher. I started out being a guidance counselor.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I thought, I really like working with my hands. So, I took part of the guidance courses too. I went to Northern Illinois University, and part of the guidance courses that I took, lended themselves to education. So then I thought, you know what, I'm going to be a teacher. And so I finished out, with a education degree and art studio degree and art history minor.
Awesome.
So that was fun.
Was there a form of art that really was like your forte, or how did you?
I liked all of them. I
I
really
know
do.
you did water painting, right?
Yeah, I do watercolors myself, but you know what I really like to get into now that I've, retired is ceramics, like building clay projects and stuff. But it's a lot of equipment. You have to buy a kiln to bake the stuff in, so it hardens, and you have to get a wheel to throw the pots on. So, but maybe one day I'll buy all that stuff and put it in my basement, and
There you go.
then you'll never see me because I'll be in my cave making pots.
There you go. Just start a new business.
Yeah.
Jim's Pots.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And then your wife is also a teacher, so
Yeah.
you guys share that.
My wife Denise is a teacher.
Shout out to Denise and Sage. Thank you for always letting Jim come and participate with us and letting us borrow him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we started doing the painting events, but then
We started at the hospital. Remember, we
yeah,
were
the
going to doing it in the conference room at the hospital.
and then COVID hit.
Yeah, yeah.
But also you became a survivor, which was kind of like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, ironic in some sort of way that you weren't a survivor when we met, and then you became a survivor. So in some sort of way that also brought you in more into this, because
Right.
now you had a different...
I just started out helping you and, thinking that you had a really good cause, among the Latinx community. And, everybody's welcome in your group. But then my cousin had taken her life, and that really hit home. And I thought, well, I'm doing this, with Gabi. So, and I felt really bad about my cousin because, I talked to her all the time on the phone. She lived in Michigan. So, then I became, closer to the group because I was a survivor as well of somebody in my family.
You had like a stake in it
Tried.
at this point, You had a stake in the fight, finally.
A stake in the fight, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I was telling AJ, I'm like, I want people to know, the people that are involved here at Poiema, especially Jim, because everyone that comes to the painting events, they just love you. You're so fun. The way you teach it, and, you make us see our potential as artists. So that's amazing.
I did that all my years of teaching, too. I
yeah.
never gave a kid a hard time or a bad grade, as long as they tried,
Yeah. What was your favorite part about teaching? Or what is it now?
I think getting to know the kids.
Getting to know the kids.
Yeah, getting to know the kids and watching their progress. That was fun,
I bet.
Plus, they wanted to come to my class, which was really a good thing.
I would too.
It wasn't like a math class where you go, oh, God. I wasn't a math person. So I would always hide behind the person in front of me. I'd sit in the back of the room.
I'm still not a math person.
And I kind of ducked down so that the teacher would never call on me. And
That's too funny. So what other things have you done with art? I know you were going to an event, right? You were going to judge.
Yeah, actually, that's next week.
Next week.
Yeah, I've been judging the Illinois Christian schools.
Okay.
This is the Schaumburg Christian School.
Okay.
It's going to be there, and I judge their art event where the Illinois Christian schools all, submit work that the kids have done, and then myself and a bunch of other teachers that I taught with that are retired also, we go through, look at all the projects, and grade them, and then the winner gets some kind of prize. I don't know if it's money or it might be money for college because this is all high school kids.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah, it's a good thing.
So how do you grade art?
It's tough. I mean, you grade it by the skill, basically.
Okay.
You look at the kids' work and you try to say, is this a finished project? Does it look like it's been really well done? Is it sloppy? Did the kid not know what they were doing? It's
I feel like you said, it's hard, but maybe if you put guidelines into the sense of these are the rules you have to follow for the art.
Yes, yeah.
So that might help because art is so subjective.
Yes.
That I feel like in general art would be hard to judge.
Yep.
But like I think a competition, you probably have
in this
guidelines.
competition we have sheets that we fill out for each kid. And there's different areas that we grade. So like it could be contrast, which is, really light areas, really dark areas. Does it look balanced, or those kind of things. So if it doesn't, then what I try to do is put comments down that will help the kid.
That's good.
You know,
Yeah.
kind of give them little hints that, you know, okay, watch your perspective, do that, you know. And then I even sometimes on some of them, I even draw little pictures to show them, you know, what they should have done.
This is what you should have done.
That's pretty cool. They're like,
Well,
wow.
you know, just to give them that, they don't have to follow and do my picture exactly, but I'm trying to get the idea in their head
Yeah.
that, you know, you can show distance certain ways by overlapping or by perspective, those kind of things. And, you know, if they didn't do that, but they were trying to show distance, then I'll do a little sketch for them and show them, and then maybe it'll ring a bell with them,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, because we were just talking about Gigis Playhouse. We're talking about, you know, when we went in there to work with their students, we actually took the butterfly that you actually designed with me, the logo.
Yes, we designed
let's go
your
back to
logo
that
a
one.
long time ago.
Yeah, that was like in the
Yeah,
beginning.
you wanted a butterfly and you wanted the 3 tulips or the 3 flowers.
Yeah, the 3 flowers,
Yeah.
tulips representing that we all have to come out of the dark. You know, well, tulips, the bulb comes out of the dark.
Right.
It actually has to go through the winter, through the cold, to bloom in the spring.
Yeah.
So
That had something to do with all the tulips we planted at the Elgin police station too.
yeah.
because-
So there's a story behind each of the bulbs,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we share the story or the awareness part here at the studio.
yeah.
But the butterfly was a symbolism of transformation. So you helped me
Mm-hmm.
put that, like design it, put it all together.
Yeah.
And we went to Gigis Playhouse. That was our first, like,
That was our first, was that our first away from the hospital? Our
oh
first
yeah, like
event away from
community
the hospital?
outreach. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was really cool.
That was so cool. Cause you know, like the kids that are, the students that are there, they have different abilities. And so we weren't sure, you know, if they would understand instruction, and we just pre-stenciled those canvases and
Yeah.
just to see
it's all
how
Down syndrome, in case people don't know what
Yeah.
Gigi's Playhouse is.
Yeah,
It's people with Down syndrome.
people with Down syndrome, but just to see how they all just went for it. And
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they were so into it.
they were so
They loved
into it. Every
They didn't want to
butterfly
quit at
was
the end.
different.
When the time was up, they were still painting away.
Yeah. And so that inspired, like, honestly, for me, it was so inspiring to see them.
Me too. Me too. It was fun.
And that's when I think Poiema art really became something. We're like, oh, we do have something
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. And that was, 2 years ago, I
2
think.
years ago.
So I've
Yeah.
been with you 4 years.
Yeah.
Since we've started this, which is
Yes.
really good. And then we've been in all sorts of locations.
Yeah. We were also at their fundraising, their yearly gala, right?
Oh yeah,
gala,
that
yeah.
was really fun. There were
Yes.
some important people there, some celebrities,
Yeah.
basketball players.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
They
it was cool.
auctioned the canvases that the students painted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yes.
We had it all set up, and
The
Gabby and
VIP
I were there,
section.
and you looked beautiful. You were all dressed up.
You
and-
look just as handsome, Jim. Yeah, for us, it was like we couldn't believe like where we were at that moment. Like
I know.
You know, we started doing this just from the bottom of our hearts, and now I think that's what has transpired, and it transpires in every painting event.
It does.
Just to give people an inspiration, to help them relax, to release their emotions, their energy.
To forget about their grief for a little moment.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's usually 3 hours or so, 2
Mm-hmm.
hours, they just forget about the problems that they have, and
Yeah.
you know, just sink themselves into art.
Learn to
Yeah.
release in a new way. I
Art
think-
is a right-brained activity. Your brain is in 2 different hemispheres, and
Right.
your right side of your brain is more involved in creative stuff, and your left side of your brain is more logical thinking and mathematical, that kind of thing. So they say that if you get locked in the right side of your brain, like doing painting or something like that, or it could even be like building a model or something, that you lose. So if you lose track of time, like sometimes you'll look up at the clock and go, oh my gosh, I've been working on this an hour. It seems like I didn't know. That shows that you were working on the right side of your brain.
Oh wow.
That's
which is
me
interesting.
almost all the time.
Yeah.
Making music or
Well, me
drawing.
too.
I'm like,
They have actually tests that you can take that'll tell you what side of the brain you use mostly. And for me, I mean, and it's obvious, I use my right side of my brain 75% of the time.
I'm pretty sure
So
I'm up there.
the left side of my brain is just basically inactive.
Yeah, it's probably like
It's dead.
it's probably been the same since I was born. Just haven't touched it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think you're
just-
okay, DJ.
Yeah, you're so smart. So smart.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, but and then the beautiful thing is that I mean, not everybody that comes to our painting events are going through grief. It's also just teaching people you teach, and I just offer a tool for them to
You
know.
do. You do
that
great, though. You teach, too.
I'm
down.
learning.
You teach.
I don't teach art.
You do.
No, I don't. I do like go and like try to help people, right?
That's
Yeah.
teaching.
But no, just to show them that they can be artists, that they are artists
Sure,
too, and that
sure.
they can use art as a tool to, take care of their mental health and
Exactly.
self-care.
Another form of expression.
Another
Something
form of
easier
expression.
than
Yeah.
talking sometimes. Talking is hard sometimes.
True.
To understand and to have the words to say what you actually feel.
Especially
Why
if
not?
somebody's like got an introverted personality. They,
Very much
they're not
so.
outgoing. So
So why not paint it? Or why not just do
I
something?
found that to be true with a lot of kids that were really into art were introverts.
That's how I am. Like I was very
Yeah.
introverted. I mean,
Me
I'm
too.
still
I was
quite introverted. I mean,
growing up.
not super as much anymore. Yeah, I just.
I think
delve
as you
into art.
become an adult, you have to get over that because
you don't have a choice.
Yeah, you have to go to work. You have to, like in my case, I had to teach. So
Yeah.
you can't really be an introvert when you're in front of 30 kids 6 times a day.
Not
Yeah.
at all.
And
You're not
plus
though,
parents.
right?
Pardon?
I'm like, you're not.
no.
You're
Well,
very
I've tried to
outgoing.
overcome it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
That's what it's about when growing up.
I'm the
is
kind of guy
overcoming.
though that I'm fine being by myself. I don't need to have people around me, whereas extroverts need to have people around.
So
I
you're like
feel
an
that.
ambivert. Yeah.
I could be by myself and I'll be like, I'm totally.
I'm fine
content.
with
Like
it.
I am fine right
Yeah.
now. Like I would play games. I would make music. I would draw. Yeah, because again, it's the whole like I love working on the right side of my brain, and nobody else knows your brain like you. So
Right.
when you work on something, it's like wow, it's cool to be by yourself.
Yeah.
And you
Yes.
get these things done that you enjoy doing. And
Yes.
expressing my right side of my brain is like the best way. Honestly, it's my therapy sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so passionate about getting you on this episode.
Oh,
Because
well,
it's like,
thanks, AJ.
It's another person who understands the value of art.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It might just look like it's all fun to some people.
And I love
outside.
people, and everybody's important.
That's what
really.
it's about.
Everybody's important.
Despite if we have differences, beliefs, whatever, everybody's
Right.
important. Deep
Everybody's
down.
got feelings.
Exactly. Everybody's been in a hard place.
Exactly.
Everybody can change. Everybody can be better. I hope people realize that you can be. Maybe not change, like you are amazing as who you are, but
Right.
you could change the outlook of that, and change the ways you act and behave. And I think expressing yourself through art helps in a sense, releasing a lot of stress and anxiety or anger sometimes.
Definitely.
Like just
Definitely.
singing your heart out or painting
Yeah.
your heart out or even
Yes.
doing arts and crafts, like you said, just putting something together. Not necessarily having to be something that you see like painting or making music. I know those tend to be the most like viewed artistic
activities.
Yeah. What do you like? What other artistic expressions do you enjoy besides painting? Because I feel like everybody knows painting, and that's like an obvious.
Yeah. Well, myself, I was doing watercolor paintings, and I actually had a show here in Elgin when they had Art on the Fox. It's called. They closed down one of the streets, and then they put little booths on down the street, and you can sell your. You can display your artwork and sell it. So I had one of those booths at one time, but it really wasn't worth it to me because actually it was fun. I had a good time, but the booth itself, you had to pay like $45 for the spot just to have it on the street. And then I had to rent a tent because in case it rained or, to stay out of the sun.
Right.
And then that's where that rack came from that we use that I gave you to to display because I had my paintings on the rack. And really, I enjoyed it, but it really wasn't worth it. I mean, you pay all that money and then you might sell one painting for like $30, So
you spend like
it didn't.
$50. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
didn't
that's what
pay
could
off.
be discouraging to artists. That's what we were talking about one time. Like, I forgot who I was talking to about this, but he was saying that he's an artist, and when he chose to, say I'm gonna be an artist, he got this like resistance from his family because they were like, "What are you gonna do? Like that's not like a
Oh,
real
yeah.
job." And he said
Definitely.
he felt so discouraged. He was in high school. He's like, I gave up on my dream of being an artist, and really,
Oh, yeah.
he closed off that part of him that probably helped him, cope with just his feelings. And he was sharing that a lot of artists go through.
I was in that same position actually.
Yeah.
My parents told me the same thing. Shout out my dad. I love you, but like he told me the
Hey.
same thing. Like I wanted to make music, and it was just like, how are you gonna pay your bills? Like this is not a serious job. Like look, get serious. It was like I almost stopped doing it, and it put me in a spiral for a while. Like feeling.
I don't think
judged.
people appreciate art the way it is. Because that
it's-
same thing happened to me.
It's like almost like it was invisible. All the hard work and passion that you put
It's like,
into
how are you
it.
going to make a living doing this?
Yeah, it's
I mean,
like, well, like, who says I'm living doing something else? You know, honestly, at this point, I'm just existing. That's why I like to tell people there's a difference between existence and living, you know?
Yeah.
You could just be existing, going through the motions. Almost anybody does it. But is it living? You know, is it enjoyable?
And if music is your passion, that's what you need to be doing.
Yeah, and like you were saying in general, it gets discouraging when you hear that, though, you know, like, oh, music is not going to pay for anything or art is not going to supply you a better life.
My dad was disappointed when I told him I was going to be an art teacher. He was,
Really?
you know, because he was an engineer, so he's like really Mr. Mathematical.
Totally left-sided.
Yeah, totally, definitely.
Yeah.
I can remember sitting up, you know, when I was in elementary school doing homework with him till like midnight, sitting at the dining room table, and finally he goes, "Son, I don't know if you're ever going to get this, so
Aw.
just go to bed."
Let me do your homework for you.
Yeah, well, he never did that. He never did
Oh,
that.
man.
Oh. So he said, no, Jim, you can't be an art teacher.
No, he didn't say that, but he was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
But then, you know, once I started doing it and had done it for several years, then he came around and said, "You know what? I'm with you. It's
Oh,
okay.
that's awesome.
You're good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're the same way with Sage, your daughter, who's very creative. She actually brought in some of her artwork. Remember we started
Yeah.
putting up the youth
Yeah, we put up the youth display,
exhibit. Yeah.
especially youth that is going through a depressive period, to show what their artwork shows.
Yes. Yes.
know,
we should put that out.
Yeah.
We should have a little showcase, art
We can
event
do
with
that.
and with that theme, because you look at the artwork and it can look so somber and so dark, and people might question why, but I'm like, hey, it's just someone expressing what
Right,
they were going through
exactly.
at that moment. Maybe they're not going through that right now. Maybe that was just a moment where they were able to
Exactly.
put this on a canvas and
Show their feelings.
yeah, it's like a
Yep.
picture, right?
Yep.
Sometimes you take a picture and it might not be your best picture, but you remember that memory, that moment where that experience happened.
I never had a problem with that when my students did it in the classroom or when my daughter was doing it. You know, if it was kind of grim looking and depressive, she was just getting out, what she was thinking, and,
Yeah.
Or the student was. And, you got to give them, support and say, hey, I like your artwork, you're getting out your feelings, and,
And it might even be something good for teachers or parents to be more like cautious, or not cautious, maybe just more observant of, because you might not, your child,
accepting.
Yeah, it might not express what they're feeling, but if you look at their artwork, it might be a conversation starter,
Exactly,
right? Like,
exactly.
hey, I noticed you painted this. What are you feeling? Or tell me a little bit more about your artwork.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. Instead of seeing it like, why are you painting that? Like, what makes you paint that? Like, let's talk about it.
Right. What are you feeling
Yeah,
when you
what are you
paint that?
feeling?
And it might be an indicator to parents, that maybe you have to keep an eye on your child because they're really in a dark place.
Yes. So, what would you tell people why come to our painting events, Jim?
Oh, we love our painting events. Our painting events are so much fun. They
Yes,
really are.
they really
we
are.
goof around and but everybody goes home with a painting.
Yes.
And, they can hang it on their wall, and a lot of people are very happy with the results.
Yes.
And it's a really nice evening.
People are surprised with the results. People don't realize how well they can do, honestly.
People are,
Yeah.
we, in all the years we've been doing this, and I can't tell you how many times we've actually done one of those painting events, but we've only had one person walk out and say, I can't do
Yeah,
this.
he's
Only
like, "I
one
can't."
person.
Yeah. And that one was like a more grief-centered
Yes.
conversation. So
Yes.
we're not even sure.
We don't
if
really
it
know the
was-
reason for it.
Yeah.
It could have been that, that person was overcome with grief and they didn't want to participate because maybe it would be too touching for them. Maybe it would hurt their heart. So I'm not putting that person down.
Yeah.
If,
No, what we're saying is that overall, people have come to the painting event despite their experience, despite their belief of them being an artist or not, and they've just enjoyed it. So thank you so much, Jim. And thank you to Kathy from Pino's Palette, because we haven't mentioned her.
Kathy was one of my former students, actually.
Yeah.
I had her, oh my gosh, it must have been 1980 maybe. Yeah, 1980, I think I had her in
1980,
class. And then she owns Pino's Palette in Barrington, which is at the Arboretum. And then, I made contact with her and she gave us all our easels, gave us paint brushes.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And
She
so
gave us the blessing.
shout out to Kathy.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Kathy. We always think about you.
Shout out,
Yeah.
Kathy.
Yeah, she was like here.
She's a sweetie. She
and,
actually came to one of our events too.
Yeah. And so those people that have, planted their small seed, now I'm sure they can look back, and we just want to say thank you, because here we are, still doing our painting events, and it's just going to get bigger because,
Keeps going. And I never want it to stop.
Yeah.
I really don't. I want it to keep going.
yeah. So I'm not sure when this episode comes out, we probably are going to already do our first spring painting theme canvas.
What's coming up on Saturday? Is there?
Saturday.
It will
yes.
definitely have passed just a couple of days ago.
Yeah. But our next one is March 26th, and it's
Okay.
going to be another spring theme.
And that painting event was probably awesome.
Yes. So we invite everyone to just come out,
Sure.
try it for the first time if you haven't yet, and bring your kids, bring your friends, and just come and check it out here at Poiema Studio
Please.
in downtown Elgin.
He might be a Picasso in hiding. Who knows?
Yes.
Exactly.
That's the
Exactly.
thing, though. Like, the first time I ever painted or did any artwork was with you, and then during the pandemic, I just started painting a little
You
bit
never
more.
did any in high school or anything?
No, it was not. I took cooking class and some
Okay, like home ec, that
photography.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't always get to take every elective. But I don't remember. I love my parents, but they never really said, "Hey, here, paint," or
A lot of that generation
so-
didn't value the arts as much.
yeah,
I think we're a lot freer as a society now, and we're more accepting of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at where we've come with, LGBT rights and,
must say, God.
appreciating people.
I'm so
Yes.
grateful for that, honestly.
Me
And
too.
I'm happy to be born in a time like this. I mean, of course, there's still a lot of work to be done.
Right.
But it's so
It's-
great to be in a part where there's
Exactly.
already work being put in, and there's a lot of
Exactly.
progress being made.
yeah,
Yeah.
And just allowing people to be to know that, like what you were saying, we are all a beautiful masterpiece. You're all created
Yeah.
differently, your own design. And no matter what it is, your life is valuable. And that's the most important
Right.
message to people from us,
There's God in everybody's spirit, and you got to see it
Yeah.
in their heart, really.
Exactly. So, so thank you so much, Jim, for, like I said, being our supporter, our friend, our instructor.
one.
Sure, guys.
Yes.
It's my pleasure, actually.
Jim's
Yeah.
like the definition of a ride or die.
Yes.
So cool.
And so we're
Jim's
so
cool.
happy that we get to, come out of the pandemic and
Oh, yeah.
start getting together with people, because we were cautious with that too.
We were very cautious with
know,
it.
we
I
were
mean, remember, we would sometimes wear masks, and, I'm glad it's over with,
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And that we have our space, because we used to travel with our
Hey,
easels.
keep your fingers crossed. Keep your fingers crossed on that one, please.
Yeah.
Please be done with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully things are, safer now, and we always try to be safe, but,
Yeah.
we invite everyone to come out and meet Jim, and
Yeah. And our studio is the Poiema Studio in Spring Street in Elgin, 21 Spring Street.
yes.
And it's kind of hard to see because there's just a door that says 21 out
Yeah.
on Spring
Yes.
Street. But if you come downstairs, that's where our studio's located.
It's a hidden
Yeah.
secret.
Yeah,
It doesn't
but
look like much, but it's holding a lot.
when you come down, it's awesome, though. Really,
Yes,
I
yeah.
mean, what Gabby's done with the decorations,
Thank
and
you.
it looks sharp.
you.
You did a
Thank
good
you so
job.
much.
She did do a good job.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we hope to continue working on it more. And we opened up a year ago, so we're very excited for another year with an opportunity to touch lives, give hope, and inspire everyone to, know that they're artists and they can come and express
Yeah.
themselves and get whatever they're feeling out into a canvas and make it beautiful.
Yep.
Exactly.
So before we go, Jim, the one question.
Okay.
What would you tell your younger self, that, young Jim? What would be your advice? Mental health related, art related? What would you
anything.
say?
My advice would be just to
Make sure you
Be
get
true.
home before dark.
be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. If you have an idea that you think is something that you want to do, go explore it and do it. And if it's not the right thing, you'll do something else. If it is the right thing, then you'll just carry on.
Awesome.
There's people are too hung up on stuff in this life. You know, you gotta be easy and chill, you know, and just, you know, what comes. And what doesn't come,
You gotta be
then
easy and
just
chill.
forget about it.
Just forget about it.
Forget
okay,
about it.
awesome.
All right, everybody, we'll
Yeah.
leave you with that then. Thank you. Remember, thank you, Jim, for coming
Yes,
out.
thank
AJ,
you.
my
Thank you
pleasure.
so much. Remember to like, share, comment. You better subscribe too. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every time we get a video out. And I can't wait for this one to get out. And then
Yeah.
again, live chill.
Live chill.
Live chill. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
It's our new theme. Live
Yes.
chill.
Good night. See you guys next time.
Buenos nachos.
Bye, you guys.
Ooh.